And we should be live.
I see a green thing. I think that means we're live.
We are live. Oh, I should probably put the screen up there. That was a... subscribe, everybody. Oh, wait, is it going to work? Subscribe.
Alright, so welcome everyone to episode 2 of AKA the Greatest King's Game podcast ever, where we, of course, talked about Promised Neverland.
Wait, you... I thought it was AKA the greatest podcast ever.
No, but because we're talking about Promised Neverland as a series, every episode is AKA another anime series podcast ever. Like last time was ReZero, this is King's Game, next week will be Hyoka.
Oh, so basically what you're saying is subscribe!
Exactly, put the thingy on the screen. Words, I can't speak them.
People are getting epileptic sneezers all over the place. I think we're about to get, like seriously, I think we're about to get swatted by the FBI because we just gave, 5 people some epileptics.
Yes, and speaking of the FBI, that reminds me so much of this episode.
You're right, episode 5 of The Promised Neverland. I'm going to give, a brief synopsis here.
Oh, I have the wrong notes up. Hold on.
Well, I don't know. Why you didn't really need to say that. I mean, I was about to do a thing. It's
no, I was just looking at my notes and realized, wait, this document's shorter than I thought. This isn't about Promised Neverland.
Correct. I guess you're correct. I don't know. So Ray is the traitor, and Norman set 3 traps so he could figure that out.
Yeah, Norma is just 12 steps ahead of Light from Death Note and Lelouch from Code Geass and Rem from Keijo.
I didn't finish the synopsis. Hold on. Oh, this podcast really is really good. We learn Ray has helped Mama under the condition that he wants out. He doesn't want to be shipped out immediately, and he gets various junks, things like PlayStation 2s and GameCubes, and all he does all day is play video games. Anyways, Ray also knows Mama's weakness in some sense of the word, as he knows about the tracking device. Right. After going over a rough plan with Don and Gilda headed to the secret entrance that they talked about in Mama's, office, but someone is at the door. Who could it be? I think I have an idea. Do you want to hear it? Do you want to hear my theory on who it is?
Can I say who my idea is first?
Yeah?
It is Satsuki the Savage because he is saying lolicon in the chat.
I'm not a lolicon! It was a typo!
And yet we're talking about a show that features the entire cast except for the adults all under 11 years old.
Stop this nonsense!
But nonsense is how we roll.
I call for justice. I am not a lolicon. People watching this when it's not streamed are going to be very confused.
I mean, they can see
Here's my guess. God damn it! It's
okay.
Mr.
Tell me
Kitty.
your guess.
The joke was Mr. Kitty.
Okay, do you think it's Mr. Kitty?
Meow.
Oh, so it's Mr. Kitty from Planet With.
Subscribe, everybody.
Okay. Yes, we're apparently on drugs tonight. By the way, I hope you're enjoying this.
We are definitely on drugs.
But yeah, the big focus of the episode, probably half of it, was just the conversation with Norma and Ray, and how you find out that Norma was setting the trap for everyone, and then you had the weird effect when Ray admitted it, and just how Ray was how weird he was acting. And I was right too last week because I predicted that Ray was doing all this to help them, which I think is at least somewhat true.
I can't remember what I predicted.
Did you predict anything? I don't know. That was a week ago.
This may be blending in with the King of Anime podcast. I have no idea. Oh my god. Okay. I'm in 2 different places.
Go subscribe to the King of Anime podcast, which he's actually recording at the same time. He's doing 2 podcasts at once. I should do that sometime.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, you should. So he set 3 traps. He was... My Discord's going off in the background. I probably should have... It doesn't matter. God, this podcast is already so good. Set 3 traps.
I just muted Discord for me. Yes, the 3 traps.
Yes, the 3 traps.
Not the traps as in the Fate.
No, oh my god.
Those traps are also good.
Oh my god, this podcast. So yeah, he set 3 traps, and he did all of this to figure out who the real traitor was. And Norman is so clever. He's definitely like one of the smartest people in this show right now.
I think just one of the smartest people in anime too. Like how he's thinking like 5 steps ahead. And I just love the mind game shows, and this is an amazing mind game show.
Yeah, I agree. Well, what do you think? Like the compare. So like Norman's like the smartest kid in this show, and probably real life and ever.
Yeah, he's smarter than me.
Compare to like Mama, what in comparison to that, like where does he stand?
It feels like, at least from this episode, he's outsmarted her, but I don't feel like she will be beaten that easily because she seems to not completely trust Ray and think that maybe he's betraying her, which he is. So, yeah, I don't think it's a clear-cut victory for him here, even if it looks like it might be.
Yeah. It's I don't know, to be honest, like how Norman's like intellectualism is gonna play up against Mama, because it's so obvious. Like Norman, he did all of this by himself. Like he didn't need Ray to do this or Emma. He thought of it and he did it.
Right, and just how suspicious he is. And another thing I liked is the reason he suspected Ray is because Ray would be the worst case scenario for them. So he was like, this could be really bad if it's true. I have to make sure it's not.
Yeah. What did you think about the music during this?
Yeah. It felt weird because at first it had the silence, which we talked about last time, how that added an effect. But then the music as they were talking, it felt kind of off, which I think... Yeah, we talked about it a little bit before the podcast went live, but how I think that maybe it's indicated that there's something more to Ray than what he's letting on.
Yeah, I thought it was just a weird, like as a musician, I guess it was. I noticed a lot of these things, and I felt from a technical perspective, I thought this is kind of the wrong music to play at this part, because it's very menacing, very evil, Dark Souls kind of sounding music in a scene that, in my opinion, didn't really need it.
Yeah, it did not need overpowering music, which you're talking about Dark Souls, and maybe that's like foreshadowing the challenge that the characters will face later on in a fight that it seems like there's no way out of. The race trying to give them a way out.
They're gonna run into Seath the Scaleless.
You haven't played Dark Souls, so I don't know. They run into the Persona. That's a game I know.
They're gonna run into the Ceaseless Discharge.
Sure.
That's one of the bosses you fight in Dark Souls.
Sorry, Astro distracted me.
Wait, what? Is Astro there?
No, he's not. He's messaged me on Discord though, and you.
Well, we figured out that Ray has been just helping Mama for so long, and the reasons for this is because he wanted some things from Mama. One, he didn't want to be shipped out immediately, and second, he wanted to get some, I guess, just some stuff from the outside world, and most of it was junk.
Yeah, and he was talking about like how he was doing it to figure out what she can and can't get him, and that's his way of like learning about the world.
Which is interesting because it seems the kids know a little bit about the outside world. For example, they know that it's 2045, and they know like of some stuff that goes on the outside world because they have like a big library. So yeah. It is interesting. Like, how much are they actually keeping from these kids?
And another thing that I thought was interesting in my playroll later on is that at the very beginning of the episode they made it very clear that it was 8:20. And we learned later on that Mama goes into her secret room at 8, which meant she was probably in there then. So I wonder if there's some sort of link there. Like, if Ray planned to talk to Norma here to have it revealed, knowing that Mama would not walk in on them.
That is... So wait, so what you're saying is she goes... So when they walked into the room at the end of the episode, are you saying that she was in the secret room at that time?
Oh, no. The first scene with Ray and Norma. That's when she was in the room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, different
No,
thing.
I was trying to make sure that we're on the, yeah.
Yeah, we understand each other.
We understand each other so well, which is why I'm completely lost at this point in time.
Yeah, well, something else I found really interesting here is how Ray seemed to know so much. If you look at the foreshadowing related to it, like it was his idea to break the tracking devices, he had a way to do it. And now, knowing that he's a traitor, he knew about them all along, and now it made sense why he'd have a way to get rid of them.
Yeah. It makes me think, like, Ray isn't really that much of a good guy at this point in the story. He's still very much... He's like a bad guy, but he's like a Vegeta type, you know? Like,
Yeah,
season one of Vegeta's a bad guy, straight up. But by the end, you're like, oh, all right, season 2 of Vegeta is kind of a softie. He's taken to it, and I think that's kind of Ray at this point. He's Vegeta. He's the Vegeta of Promised Neverland.
I think he might be a Vegeta during the Namek arc, because it turns out they have a common enemy, so they're working together, though they're not fully on the same side.
So who is Ray's Bulma? It's got to be.
It wouldn't be.
What if it's Mama? That's so weird.
That would okay. I see why Satsuki calls you a lolicon.
What? No, it was funny. Funny, ha ha ha! Jokes.
Gilda is the only other girl that I think could fit, since I ship Emma and Norma, so he can't have Norma.
Norman ships himself with Emma, it seems.
I mean, okay, I'll agree with him. He's cool.
Yeah, Norman's great. I like Norman.
Yeah. Another interesting thing of foreshadowing that I actually only noticed because I looked at my old notes. Back in episode 1, the characters would talk about what they wanted to do on the outside, and Ray specifically says that once he gets outside, he'd have to survive first. And at the time, I was thinking that was just he was saying something, he didn't know the whole meaning to it. But now looking back, I'm like, oh, you were serious. You knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, it makes you think, what's on the outside world?
Yeah, it's just like he knows at least to some degree what's out there. Yeah. And that's why he said it back then.
You bring up this, like, he knows to some degree what's out there. What exactly does he know? What is the extent of his knowledge of the outside world, and is it as bad as we're thinking it is?
He doesn't know everything, though. That's why he's having to, like, scout, see what stuff can he get from Mama.
It's interesting, and she only gives him older models of things, which is super interesting. So that makes me think it could be even worse.
Yeah, like maybe it's actually not 2045.
And maybe
what if that's a lie?
Maybe it's 2069.
Yeah, it's just how before today our video last week got 69 views.
Hey, I'm just saying, like, if our podcast is somehow in the universe of the Promised Neverland, I'm just
does that mean that
you wouldn't know.
That means that's exactly, and that would mean that Satsuki is one of the demons, then, right?
Satsuki is officially canon in the Promised Neverland universe, and he eats children. I'm jealous.
It all makes sense.
I'm jealous.
He's projecting those lolicon accusations on you to throw the scent off himself.
Exactly. And listen, I'm not a lolicon. I just like to. I like to eat children, but not in that way. I like to actually consume them.
I think that might be worse.
No, nothing is worse than being labeled a lolicon. But being a cannibalist, that's fine.
Okay, that's going on my quote book.
Oh my God. The quote book has grown. Sea Tactics is now in prison for 8,000 years.
Oh, Satsuki says 69 years.
Hell yeah, 69 years.
Okay, so back on the actual topic.
We have an actual topic?
Yes.
I thought we were just talking about my life. I mean, what?
This is a podcast. So what I think is interesting here is, like, Norma is conflicted between Ray and Emma's ideals. Like, Emma wanting to save everyone, Ray wanting to get just the 3 or 5 of them out. And like how Norma is like has the nightmare halfway through the episodes when they all try to escape, but everyone other than him dies because of it.
Yeah, he's definitely going through something trying to figure this out in his head, trying to work. I guarantee you, knowing Norman now, how smart he is, he's probably thinking constantly how to get everyone out.
Right, and like after Ray left the room, you tell both Ray and Norma had things going through their minds, seeing something beyond what they just talked about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting thing. The more we move forward in this series, like how is this going to come back up? In my opinion, my theory used to be is like they're going to escape, but some people are going to die in the escape. Now I'm starting to think that may not be.
So you think they'll all make it out, or you think they'll all die?
I think a lot of them are going to make it out. I think some of them are still not going to. I just don't think the rest of them are going to get killed. I think they're going to have to leave some behind.
Oh, that would be an interesting point. Instead of them dying on the way out, they just never go.
Yeah, so the people who escape are the smartest ones, with some, of course, people that aren't the smartest, so you get some nice character development, and they're probably going to have to maybe go back, and now their plan after getting out is to get the other ones out, and maybe to take down, this evil thing.
Okay, I have a theory now that I'll see if I'm right about this, and that's I think that Ray will somehow influence Mother to force the kids to have to run away. Like, he will influence her in some way that she will, like, have a shipment come for the next kid, so because that will force them to need to go running right away.
I think, now that you bring that up, now I have another theory.
Okay, let's get your theory out there.
So you bring up that he doesn't want to be shipped out immediately. Maybe that's going to play a key role in their escape, is they're going to use the truck that comes by.
Oh!
Maybe they'll pretend, I don't know, pretend they're dead. Or they'll make the escape during, them being, shipped off.
Yeah, like they take it, like the mother takes the kid to the truck, and then the other kids there, they ambush the demons, steal the truck, they drive it away.
Yeah, they
that would be cool.
It turns out that all of the old junk that Ray got were parts for an AK-47, and so they put together an AK-47 and kill the demons, and then they shoot at Mama, and it turns out Mama is actually Roberta from Black Lagoon, and that's a no-no. So now they gotta.
Yeah, you don't shoot Roberta.
Yeah, you don't do that. That's a bad idea.
Yeah.
But yes, part of that was a salient theory.
And then the rest of that is when the LSD kicked in.
Pretty much. This LSD is really strange. It goes in waves.
Okay, so now that C is coherent, let's talk about the next scene that stood out to me, and that was with Emma, Ray, and Norma in the forest.
Yes. This is the day after all this stuff.
Yeah, and what I thought was so cool about that is, like, Norma is trying to figure out how to tell Emma what's really going on and not sure of his plan. And then Ray just says, "Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm the traitor." And how that, like, breaks Emma. He looks at her like,
Emma goes up to him and is like, "Don't you ever do that again."
Yeah, I was going to get to that in a point, but that was after Ray implied that he had sacrificed other kids to be to learn about the tracking device.
Yeah.
And that how Emma's like, "Okay, I'm not going to ask. We're good now." And then basically forcefully telling Ray, "Don't ever do that again. You're not alone now."
I love the face she made.
Yeah, it's just like how Emma is all about encouraging, all about doing this together.
Now she's all about death.
She's both, though. She's still about, we're in this together, and you better be in this together.
And you better be, or you're fucking dead to me, Ray.
Yep, Emma's best girl.
I'm not going to say anything because Satsuki's watching, and he'll say stuff.
Oh, it's okay, so you admit it. You agree with me.
I never said that. I'm just saying I can't say anything.
No way Satsuki understands.
No, Satsuki doesn't understand. No, Satsuki definitely understands, and that's the issue.
be really funny if someone wasn't watching the live stream and thought we were like talking about Satsuki Kill.
Well, that's where he got his name from. So.
Yes, he's a good person. Yeah. By the way, shout out to Sasuke the Savage. A link to his description or his channel will be down in the description.
A link to his description will be in the description. I love it.
Yes.
You should actually have like an Imgur of like a screenshot of his description.
Okay, remind me after we get done with this.
I don't think he uses the description. I don't think he puts anything there. So it's just nothing. It's just link to the description, link to Satsuki's description, and like there's nothing. It's just that's it.
Yeah. So moving on to the last scene of the episode, we have Don and Gita going after Mother's secret room, trying to get in there, trying to send a message to the outside.
Yeah. So that was interesting because they told him this is like right after they were going over the plan. And they even said to like Dawn that like, hey, this is not a good idea because there's no point.
Yeah, it's like, don't do this, you won't get anything from it. But he's so driven on saving Connie, not knowing Connie's dead, which I think will come back later. And so he just is rushing into it. And that makes me wonder if Norma actually expected him to do that.
Maybe. At this point, all these darn kids are too smart for me, man.
Yeah, like Norma and Ray definitely have something going on. I could see them manipulating Don to do this.
Their one mistake here was telling them Connie was alive and well. I don't know. There has to be a reason for that, and I think you're getting to that point before, and what that point is, and I shudder to think about this, but maybe it's to save themselves unless something goes wrong.
Yeah, so because the reason they gave is they did not want the other characters to give up. They want to give them a reason to fight, but that's almost backfiring because it's making Don want to fight too much.
Yeah.
And it might be a thing like I think Norma was the one who came up with the idea. He's making the mistake of telling Don that because he doesn't believe in the other kids enough.
I don't think that's when he said, I want to do this so it gives them a reason to keep going. If you told him that Connie was dead, that would want to keep them going. Still, but it would have created a different outcome. Sure, he would have made a little bit of a scene, but they surely could have calmed him down. They were in the woods.
Right. Well, no. I thought Don was in the house when they told him.
Oh, no, you're right. He was in the library, yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that was a week ago. They could have brought him into the woods.
Yeah, so maybe that would have worked out. So we'll definitely see what goes on with that one. And then I guess the final question is, who do you think is opening the door?
I said earlier it's Mr. Kitty.
It's Kitty.
I think Kitty.
I think the obvious answer would be Mother, so it's not her because the show does not go with obvious things.
I think it could be Sister Crone. We didn't see Sister Crone in this episode. I think it would be a good time for her to pop back up. Crone's going to come in, and she's going to be like weird and stuff. And the kids maybe are going to hide under the desk at first. And so they don't ever get confronted, but they realize something is up. But Crone realizes one of the kids got into it because the bookcase is still moved. Or the Crone confronts them, and Crone's like, "I won't tell anyone, but we gotta work it. We gotta strike a deal here."
Yeah, I think narratively, Crone would make the most sense to like push the story forward, and with all the like 27 sides all fighting. 27
sides.
It's pretty close to like we have the 5 kids, we have the 2 adults, we have the demon, so that's at least 8.
Yeah.
We have Satsuki wanting to prove your lolicon. That's 9.
That's not. Well, if the Promised Neverland podcast is canon to the Promised Neverland TV show, then you're right. That is a side.
I'm always right.
This is true. You are always right. There is no denying that.
Exactly. You can't argue with my logic because I make up my logic on the spot.
Yes, you reject my reality and substitute your own.
Yes, Astro be proud of me.
So would the Mythbusters.
Yeah, them too, I guess.
Also, whoever made up that quote in the first place, I forget.
Yeah, I think that was the Mythbuster guys the first place I heard it.
Yeah, same.
So I guess that's our predictions for the next episode. Is there anything else you want to bring up that we haven't so far?
So, the initial scene, there is like the very first thing you see, it like the camera or the point of view is attached to the clock, and it's I hate that. Why did they put that in there? It only was in there for like 5 seconds. There's some weird, odd production choices with a lot of Cloverworks anime, but this one has like the weirdest ones.
I think I might know the reason they were doing that was to focus you on, yes, you're seeing this from the perspective of the clock, and then they switched to the clock showing it's 8:20. So maybe there's the reason they did that.
I also realize that at the same time, what they were doing that there is, once again, the theme of the show, which is the clocks. So, yeah.
So the clocks definitely will mean something.
I think what is behind that door is actually a big, giant clock that's come to life.
Wait, what if what's behind the door is Aaron's basement from Attack on Titan?
Finally, we'll get answers!
Yes, after 3 seasons and 5 years.
Yes, after over 5 years of Attack on Titan, we will get the answers. What's in Aaron's basement? The answer is Aaron's basement isn't there. It's in the Promised Neverland.
Exactly. See, I knew there was a reason Promised.
There's a wall in the Promised Neverland. Where else is there a wall? Attack on Titan. They're in Germany.
There's a reason that Attack on Titan and Promised Neverland I feel so similar to me.
It's, you know what? I can't even speak. I agree with you so much on this.
Yeah, like, I get the exact same feel from the two. I kind of like Promised Neverland better, though, because, like, the kids don't have powers to fight back. It's much more psychological and stuff, though Attack on Titan has, like, the over-the-top action and the politics and stuff from Season 3. It does have Mikasa, and it has Tsukasa.
Mikasa es Tsukasa.
Yes, and it has Historia, and it has that weird machine.
Let's not talk about that weird machine.
Yeah, let's talk about the Promised Neverland.
That's like one of the worst things about Attack on Titan. I'm sorry.
I'm glad they just glossed over that in the anime, at least.
Freaking removed it. That's what they should have done.
Yeah. So that's all of my notes, I think.
Can we?
Yes, we can. What are we doing?
We're adding. Well, since we're doing it, we're adding Mikasa to the show. I just want her. She solves everything with violence.
I mean, yeah, I kind of like to see her just fly and kill some demons and all that.
Oh my god. Smash Bros. Make it happen. Mama versus Mikasa. Who'd win? I think Mama's got some serious skill that we've never seen yet. That smile. That face.
Maybe Mama's like Roberta. She seems like the perfect maid type person, but she actually has 23 guns on her time.
Exactly. Well, actually, Roberta is not. If you remember, actually, Roberta is kind of a bad maid.
True.
She was so good at war. She's kind of like Violet Evergarden, except for Violet just wasn't boring. God damn it! I can't help it. I hate Violet Evergarden. But I like Saber. I like Saber in that show.
Yep, Saber is the best character in any show she's in, including Gridman.
I agree. And in SAO, Saber's really good in that one as well.
Yeah, I need to watch SAO. I'm like behind an episode.
I'm behind. Let's see. I dropped off at 6.
So like 10.
Yeah, like 10 or 11.
Yes.
Did I bring up that you all should subscribe?
You have the thing flashing again, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm actually only 4 subscribers away from 300. And I'm kind of in a race with Mighty Pie's new channel to get 300 first, so go subscribe to both of us.
You would tell them not to subscribe to you.
Dude, like, go subscribe to Mighty Pie and PewDiePie and Satsuki and George Bush.
I'm just, like, messing around with this. Oh, subscribe backwards. Look at that. Subscribe is backwards.
I'm waiting for it to be backwards on my screen.
That's right, everyone. Subscribe. Wait, no, it's Ibericusbus.
Okay, there it is. I see backwards now.
Ibericusbus, guys.
All right, so I think that wraps up episode 2 of the Promised Neverland podcast, known as the Kingsian podcast ever.
Yeah, woo!
Yep. There's links to his sea stuff in the description, to his Discord, to his channel, to Wikipedia.
Oh no, I'm moving the background now. Oh, well, we'll still do it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Woo-hoo! Yeah, subscribe. Subscribe and don't subscribe to Mighty Pie. I don't really know who that is. Actually, I do, but we'll just pretend I don't.
Okay, and also subscribe to he has the best memes.
I think we should. Yes. Wait, did I agree to?
Exactly, don't worry about it.
Mr. Kitty, you're so cute.
Alright, does Mr. Kitty need to do an outro too?
Say meow, Mr. Kitty. You didn't say that was you. That wasn't Mr. Whatever. Thank you, Mr. Kitty.
Thank you. Goodbye. We love you all.
Bye.